Hey guys, we're about to go live here in the permanent weight loss community. If you're watching this at a later time on my YouTube channel or on my podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher, you can join the permanent weight loss community by simply going to Facebook, go into the search bar, type in permanent weight loss community. You'll see my mug on the picture for the group. Just request to join. Answer the 3 questions. If I feel you've answered those questions sufficiently, I'll let you in. If you don't answer the questions, I will not let you in. So the group isn't huge. There's only a little over 160 people in there, and it's for a reason. It's because they actually follow directions, and they're serious about making a healthy, sustainable, and permanent change. So we're about to go live here in the permanent weight loss community. Give me just one. Hey everybody, welcome to our weekly Facebook Live call here in the permanent weight loss community on Facebook. I'm Pete Weintraub, permanent weight loss specialist, and today we have a few great questions, 2 from BJ, 1 from Simone. I'm really excited to share this with you. So again, if you're listening or watching this was recorded live on Facebook in the permanent weight loss community. So if you have 25 or more pounds to lose, you're looking to avoid weight loss surgery and prevent debilitating chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, various forms of cancer, all that good stuff that kills millions and millions of people every single year, then join us. All you got to do, go to the search bar on Facebook, whether it's on your phone, your computer, your tablet, wherever, type in permanent weight loss community. You'll see my mug, and all you have to do is answer the 3 questions. If you answer them sufficiently, I will let you in, and you'll be able to partake in all the fun stuff. If you're watching this live here on Facebook, guys, I do have 3 questions that were sent to me prior to the show. So what I'm going to do in that event is I'm going to answer those questions. In between each answer, I'm going to check the live feed, and if you left a question that you'd like me to answer, I will answer it either before or after I answer the 3 pre-sent questions. All right, so the first question today comes from BJ, and BJ asks, what exercises can I do to grow my inner chest? So obviously this is more so for males than for females, and it's also for males looking to build up their pecs. And I know BJ's not looking to look like a bodybuilder or anything, but this is an area that's a problem for a lot of guys who are overweight, right? Yeah, we get tubby in our midsections, maybe our hips and our lower backs, but we also can get tubby in our chest, so we want to tighten it up, and sometimes certain areas of our chest don't tighten quite to the same extent as others. So what I'd recommend, BJ, is an exercise called, I believe it's called a decline fly. Basically, you're going to lie flat on a bench. I'll link a video to it. I don't personally do them, but I'll link a video to it from YouTube, a good one that I found that's really quick and easy. And you might even do it already. But I would, basically you're lying on a bench and backing up here so you can see. You're going to have 2 dumbbells and literally keep your arms straight, come all the way down and back, and then come up. Don't touch the weights in the middle. You just want to tighten your chest, feel a squeeze, and that'll tighten that inner part right there. Again, I don't personally do them. I don't personally have a video for it, but I will find a good one for you that I will link in the comments below. And if you're a guy who has that same issue, it's very common, but decline flies tend to be the way to go for that. So BJ, I hope I answered your first question. Your second question is, when is the best time to do the cardio in your workout? Before lifting, between sets, and after lifting? So I got some more clarification on this, and basically BJ does a weightlifting circuit with compound lifts, and it's a very traditional gym-oriented workout, which is perfectly fine. If that's what he likes to do, that's great. If that's what you like to do, that's great as well. So personally, I like to combine everything together. So I don't lift to get really strong. I lift because it burns fat. I lift to maintain my functionality and to maintain my strength. So we might have different goals. I know when we went through that thread, which you guys can see here in the permanent weight loss community, BJ mentioned he is doing it for strength, but it's mostly right now just to stay in shape. So I like to do interval training, and like I said, I like to combine everything. I like to do calisthenics, plyometrics, and then throw in some light to moderate resistance training in there as well. And it really, really makes a world of difference in terms of fat burning, in terms of muscle definition, in terms of muscular endurance, and also strength, because if you're able to keep going when you're under kind of duress and you're really pushing your cardiovascular system, you'll see some great results. But BJ, to go back to the type of workout you're doing, I wouldn't recommend doing it before So if you're doing like 20, 30 minutes on an elliptical or a treadmill or something like that, I wouldn't recommend doing it before, only because if you're going hard, and this is also another question that I should have asked, but if you're going hard with your cardio, right? If you're doing like a traditional 20, 30 minute, maybe more of cardio before, during, or after your workout, then I wouldn't recommend doing it before, only because our bodies and our muscles only have so much energy to expend, right? Before we'd have to eat in order to recover. And if you're burning yourself out before you're lifting weights, especially if the weights are moderate to heavy, then you can actually, A, you're definitely going to decrease your performance doing it beforehand. B, because you're decreasing your performance, and I know I'm very much the same way, which is one of the reasons that I don't really lift heavy anymore. We like to be like macho men, right? We want to push past whatever we've laid out. So you mentioned 3 sets of 10 for some of the things that you do. So if you're really struggling on the 7th or 8th repetition of the 3rd set, and you should probably take a break, because if you don't, yeah, you might be able to get 2 reps where it's going to be really bad form and you're going to be straining yourself. A lot of us will push in the moment. We don't really think rationally. We're thinking emotionally, with pride, with ego, and we'll push past. And I've hurt myself plenty of times in the past when I used to power lift and do things like that, that can leave you either sore for days or susceptible to potential injury. And I don't want you to tear a pec, when we were mentioning flies before, or anything else when you're doing certain types of lifts. So I wouldn't recommend you do cardio, especially intense cardio, before. And if you're warming up on a trim, like walking, light jog, 5 to 10 minutes, that's cool. That's not really going to hinder your performance. In fact, that might help you, because that's a dynamic warm-up. But I wouldn't do like a full-on cardio session before. When you do it during, I've seen a lot of programs where they say, okay, do your sets, take 60 seconds of rest or something in between each set, but it's not really a rest. When you're done with the exercise, when you're lifting the weight, then jump rope, and you mentioned that before, do box jumps or run in place or do something. And that's more so if you're looking to burn fat and tone up. So if you're not looking to maintain strength necessarily, just looking to lean down and tone up, then that's a great thing to do. That's a form of interval training. So, or actually it's called FIT, and I forget what the F stands for, but it's a certain type of interval training where you're not really resting. You do have your basic core exercises, and you're doing your 3, 4, 5 sets of however many reps of these exercises, but in between each exercise and in between each set, you're doing some form of cardio. That can help you. And if you're really looking to lean down and you're not too concerned about putting up a max bench press anytime soon, that might be the way to do it. Afterwards, again, depends on your goal. So if you're looking to just lean down, you can do it afterwards. You would have worked your muscles sufficiently, and then you're going on. But here's the problem with doing it afterwards, is that if you go and do your cardio after a weight training workout, especially if you're lifting for strength or hypertrophy, which means muscle growth, and you said you want to build your inner chest, BJ, so I'm assuming that some component of your weightlifting workouts are comprised of hypertrophy style work, then you might undo a lot of it, because you'll burn more fat, you'll lean up, and you'll put your body in a good metabolic state afterwards. But a lot of the work you did to build the muscles, to build that inner chest, is going to be undone, because your body gets into this fat burning zone, depending on your heart rate and all these other factors, usually 30 to 40 minutes into a workout. So let's say you finish your weight stuff 30 to 40 minutes in, and then you hop on a treadmill and you're going hard, or you're doing intervals or something for another 20 to 30 minutes before you leave the gym. That can really break down your muscle as well, and that's going to not really help you get to where you want to be. And also, like I said, if you're looking to build strength, you don't want to do cardio afterwards, because you're kind of undoing what you had already done. So my best recommendation, BJ, would be to probably do it in between sets, but keeping in mind, you're probably not lifting to have a max bench press or a max back squat or a max deadlift. And instead, you're doing this more so to maintain your functionality. I mean, you can work on your strength for sure, but you're going to be pretty wiped out, because especially if you're not used to doing that in between sets, if you're used to just kind of sitting there, having a sip of water, catching your breath, and getting back into it, it's really going to wear you out. And again, it's going to negatively affect your form, which can obviously leave you susceptible to injury, either in the present, or you'll develop poor motor recruitment patterns, and then your functionality decreases, and then you're more susceptible outside of the gym to injure yourself. So I would do it during, based on the type of workout that it sounds like you're doing. Or I keep telling you, I know you've asked me a lot of questions about workouts over the last few months, but I'd recommend doing an interval training style workout. I can send you a template you can use, and in fact, I'll post it in the comments below here in the live video, just how to design your own interval training workout and kind of base it around that. And I promise you, 10, 15 pound dumbbells will never feel so heavy in your life, because you're pushing yourself, you're pushing your muscular endurance, and you're burning fat at the same time. It's really a beautiful thing. So if you're interested in that, BJ, let me know. But I'll post that infographic that I created, how to design your own workout, in the comments below, so that you can get your cardio in, you can lift weights, and combine the two in one shot. All right, so I hope I answered your question. So next up, we're going to get to Simone's question, which is, what are the benefits of quinoa as a replacement for rice or pasta? All right, so quinoa is like the new in grain, right? So obviously, finally, we've kind of broken through this barrier. I'm not a fan of grains. If you're new to the group, I'm really not a fan of grains, particularly the brow grains. Brow is an acronym. It stands for barley, B, rye, R, oats, O, and wheat, W. And those are the 4 worst grains you can eat. We've been selectively engineered and genetically modified these over the last several hundred years. So what they initially were to our ancestors are not what they are today. And in fact, even dating back to our ancestors, the first incidences of tooth decay and type 2 diabetes came when they started cultivating artisanal breads and things like that, and really using grain in their diets. So I'm not a fan of grains whatsoever, and especially those 4 grains. So again, barley, rye, oats, and wheat. Stay away from that. And that's what Simone is trying to do by going to quinoa. That's what a lot of people are trying to do by going to quinoa. You see it all over the place, on TV, in news articles, etc. And quinoa is a better substitute than those 2 things. So if your choice is between having white rice or brown rice, like regular rice, or having quinoa type rice, go with the quinoa. Same with pasta. If it's between pasta and quinoa, have quinoa. If it's between bread and quinoa, have the quinoa. But here's the thing. Quinoa is still a grain. Grains are still inflammatory. And because it's now becoming popular in our society and in our culture, I'm sure the same thing that happened to wheat, barley, rye, and oats is going to happen to quinoa. So I would try and stay away from grains as much as possible. And remember the sentence. We've been over this before, but I'll say it again. Eat meats, non-starchy vegetables, raw nuts and seeds, I can't even think. Eat meats, non-starchy vegetables, raw nuts and seeds, low glycemic fruit, no added sugar, half a cup or less of starch as well. All right, so that's the stuff you want to remember. I'm sorry I had a brain fart. It's been a long week. But yeah, so you want to try and stay in there. And obviously, if you go over the sentence again, meats, non-starchy vegetables, raw nuts and seeds, low glycemic fruit, half a cup or less of starch, and no added sugar or processed foods, grains aren't in there. So when you think about nutrition, grains are not in the picture. So in terms of rice, cauliflower rice is becoming more and more popular. That's something that I would recommend you get. Trader Joe's has it. If there's a Trader Joe's near you, Simone. But you can easily just go to the grocery store, pick up some cauliflower, chop it up really thinly like rice, and you can saute it in a pan. It takes 5-10 minutes all in all, and it's really good. I've had it many times, and it's really good. And I have a lot of clients who are big rice eaters. Maybe they liked eating Mexican or Latin food, and obviously there's a lot of rice and beans in there, and they substitute the rice, the white or brown rice, for cauliflower rice, and that would go really well for them. So that's what I would do in place of rice, Simone. And then in terms of pasta, there are some better brands, like there's chickpea pasta. Banza is a great brand, and they sell it at most grocery stores around here in New York. I don't know about your area, but if they don't sell it in your stores, then what you can do is you can just buy it online on Amazon, or Banza has their own website. A lot of health food stores have Banza too. So I would recommend looking into alternatives like that. Zucchini also, sauteed zucchini noodles, spaghetti squash. You either get a spiralizer. I know a lot of grocery stores now actually pre-spiralize zucchini and squash. So that's a good thing you can do that's healthy, that will replace pasta. So those are a couple of different options, but I would stay away from quinoa, just like I would stay away from the brow grains. Grains are inflammatory, they have no nutritional value, and I know you'll see a lot of articles that state the opposite, but trust me, you don't want to eat that. You cut that out of your nutrition and you keep it out of your nutrition, you're going to see amazing results, not just physically, but mentally as well. All right, so I hope I answered your question, Simone. So I'm looking to see if there are any other questions before we do one last thing. I don't see any other questions. And that last thing is, let's set up a strategy call, all right? I've done this the last couple of weeks. And the reason I do it is because if you're here in the permanent weight loss community, if you're watching or listening to this at a later time, you definitely are seeking some guidance, some assistance, some motivation to lose the weight and keep it off for good. This is what I do for a living. And if you're not really familiar with who I am or why I do it, I personally lost 100 pounds from my heaviest to where I am now. It wasn't easy. It took nearly 6 years actually, of a lot of experimentation, trial and error. And unlike you guys, I didn't have I didn't have somebody like myself guiding me every step of the way. I have plenty of programs. I have low-cost group programs that are under $100 a month, and I have private programs that go between $1,000 and $2,000 a month, and everything in between. And I also have my own app, and I can work virtually with anybody, anywhere in the world. One of my first clients was a Marine stationed in Japan. He was an American Marine, but he was a Marine stationed in Japan. So we would just communicate through the WhatsApp app, and also through my personal fitness and my Fitness Pal as well. And he saw great results. He moved up rank because of it, because he gained a lot of weight since basic training. And yeah, like I said, I've worked with a lot of people in a lot of different countries, in a lot of different capacities, in a lot of different places in their life, and I'd love to help you. So all you need to do to set up this strategy call is go to weightlossbypete.com. You see that up here in the search bar /strategy. And then you'll have that option. Set it up. It's completely free. It's $100 value you get me for an hour of your time. And we'll be able to go over a personalized plan that you can implement with or without my help that'll get you to the promised land. So I hope you take me up on that. Thank you so much for watching or listening. This is Pete Weintraub, Permanent Weight Loss Specialist, signing off. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. And I'll come at you next week here live in the Permanent Weight Loss community. Have a good one.